All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, guys? Rio here. Going to be breaking down this 3-game Saturday NBA slate. Looks like a pretty straightforward one. Some low-ish totals, so I won't spend a ton of time on it. But yeah, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. Definitely helps us out a ton if you guys do. Appreciate that a lot. But yeah, let's get right into it. First game of the night, Orlando versus Detroit. Yeah, this should be a pretty good game to kick things off. Pretty solid game environment on the Orlando side of things. Pistons have been a really bad defense all year long, but a team that we've been looking to attack. Their rim protection has been pretty awful all season long. They're dead last in defensive rating since the start of 2024, bottom 3 rim defense over that stretch. Also allowing the third most points to pick and roll ball handlers, the third most ISO points as well. And then they're dead last to pick and roll men. So some of the guys that I'm considering on the Orlando side of things, I think Paolo Banchero is in a really good spot here tonight, 8.4K. I think he has a ton of upside in this matchup and a ton of upside at that price tag. He is the Magic's lead pick and roll ball handler, as well as being the lead ISO scorer for that team. So I think this is a really good spot for Paolo. Next is Franz Wagner. Like this matchup for him a lot as well. Probably going to be a little bit higher owned than Paolo, maybe a couple points, but this is a really good spot for him as well. He's been a guy that historically beats up on teams with weak rim defenses. Some of the teams, team very similar to the Pistons, Washington Wizards, they're dead last in rim defense. He's had 3 matchups against them this season, put up 55.5, 52.3, 46 DK points in those 3 games. And in the 2 meetings versus Detroit this season, he's put up 48.8 and 35 DK points. I like Franz here. I think he has a big game tonight at 7.3K. Wendell Carter Jr., I think he's a pretty solid value option. Minutes have been kind of down for him as of late, but he is the second best pick and roll man for the Magic this season. Pistons are also bottom 4 in DVP to center, so I think that he could have a good game if he sees the minutes get closer to 30 minutes tonight. Like the upside for him. I think Suggs is okay as a value option. I'm seeing a ton of ownership on him right now. Should be back to his full row. He missed a lot of the last game with a head injury, but I think he's good to go tonight. Pistons are dead last in DVP to point guards this season, so there is the upside case for him. And then a couple of these value guys I'm considering, not really Gary Harris. Jonathan Isaac is okay, been getting more minutes, but one guy I'm kind of looking at is Mo Wagner, 3.6K, power forward center eligible. He's the top pick and roll man for the Orlando Magic this season. I think he has a couple avenues to pay off this tag as well. Should be good to play in a blowout. I think he'd be out there for the garbage time minutes. Showed really big upside just 1 game ago against the Cleveland Cavaliers, putting up 33.25 DK points. Not saying he's going to do that here tonight, but I do think that the matchup is really good for Mo Wagner. And, even in 20 minutes, I think that he has really big upside. So I like him as a value option. And then on the Detroit side of things, not too much to consider. Magic defense has been really solid all season long, but they are bottom 5 in pick and roll points per game to pick and roll ball handlers. Cade is 8th in the league in pick and roll points per game, and just 1 game ago put up 50.75 DK points versus the Pacers, who are dead last in pick and roll defense this season. So I do like Cade as a low-ish owned, upper or lower 8K value option or a mid-tier option tonight. Not looking at Jalen Duren tonight for me. I don't really see the upside case for him in this matchup. Jaden Ivey, same thing. I think Asar Thompson is fine to keep in your player pool. He should be out there a lot for his defense. Did get up to 35 minutes last game. Put up a pretty solid game in that one, 37.25 DK points. He's got a really big rebounding upside, so I think that you're just kind of hoping he can grind his way to a double-double, but don't love it for him. And then last guy I'll mention, all the way down low, 3.2K, James Wiseman. Really gross value option, but Monty Williams has said that they plan to continue developing him. So I think he's going to be in the rotation and, big men, they could pay off their price tags pretty easily, get a bunch of rebounds. He'd definitely be out there if this game were to blow out. So I think that he is an option. And then Evan Fournier as well, 3.6K, shooting guard, small forward eligible. We know he's got some pretty decent scoring upside off the bench, so I don't think that he's the worst value option. Next game, Boston Celtics versus the New York Knicks. Should be a really good game tonight from a viewer standpoint. This is a nationally televised game. Both these teams are, top Eastern Conference teams playing really well right now. Two really good defenses as well. So matchups kind of don't mean as much in this one. We can kind of throw that stuff out of the window. I just think that you're going to see really big. We already know we're going to see big minutes from these guys on the Knicks. Thibodeau is going to play guys like Brunson, DiVincenzo, Precious, Josh Hart, as many minutes as they can handle, which is, 40, 42 probably for these guys. So yeah, I think all these guys are in play. I'll start with Jalen Brunson, because I think if there were ever an area to attack with the Celtics defense, it's with their pick and roll defense. They're allowing the 6th most points per game. Jalen Brunson is awesome in pick and roll. He's the 3rd highest pick and roll scorer this season. Yes, he's going to see a lot of Drew Holiday, a lot of Derek White, which will make things a little bit difficult for him from a matchup standpoint. But we know he's going to be out there for a ton of minutes, and this is definitely a big game for the Knicks. So I like Brunson as a spend-up option tonight, 9.7K. DiVincenzo, going to play a ton of minutes. Like I said, he's been launching it from deep, taking 9+ 3-pointers in 9 straight games, should easily clear 40 minutes tonight. So I think you have to consider somebody even at 7.4K in a not-so-great matchup, but he's pretty much the 2nd scoring option for this Knicks team, so don't mind him. I don't think I'll get to Precious Achiuwa at 7.1K, although he's been playing really well right now, so I wouldn't hate to keep him in the player pool, but I don't think I'll get to him. Josh Hart, prefer him at 6.5K. He has a really big rebounding upside for as long as Isaiah Hartenstein's going to be on this minutes limit. Going to play 40-plus minutes in a close game. Going to be out there a lot for his defense. Just hoping that he can crack double-digit rebounds and double-digit points in this one to get you the double-double bonus. I don't think I'm going to get to Isaiah Hartenstein right now. Just the minutes are way down. Not sure when they're going to lift the minutes restriction on him, but he played really short stints last game, only played 11 minutes. But then one guy I'll consider, this is the super negative Hamwich value play. Bojan Bogdanovic, I like him tonight, even though projections are not going to agree with me. Going to be pretty much unowned tonight. He's he played how many minutes last game? Played only 24 minutes last game, but shot 6 of 6 from deep. I think that this could be a spot where they give him a little bit more minutes. I think this is a guy that they're going to be playing a lot down the stretch. Just a trusted veteran that has really good scoring upside. And the Celtics have been a slight 3-point funnel all season long. So yeah, I like him as a low-owned value option. And I think projection systems are just going to be way, way behind him, kind of like the DeAndre Hunter last night. But those are the main guys I'm looking to on the Knicks side of things. On the Celtics side, Jason Tatum, the lone 10K plus option tonight. Like him, especially if we're looking to game stack this game, which I think is viable route tonight. I could see this game playing really close, and we could see really high minutes from the main rotation pieces on the Celtics side as well. Tatum, this is kind of a narrative to buy into. He's been in the news a lot lately, talking about being the best player in the league, talking about he should be in consideration for MVP. I just think that if there was a spot for him to show that he is an MVP candidate, this would be one. Playing in the Garden against a surging Knicks team, nationally televised game. So, yeah, if you want to buy into that narrative. But, yeah, I like Tatum at 10.3K. Jaylen Brown, 7.7K, should play upper 30 minutes here. Probably going to see the easier defender. Probably sees a lot of Dante DiVincenzo on him tonight. Knicks are slightly below average in transition defense. Jaylen Brown, one of the better transition scorers this season, so that's kind of the upside case for him. Another revenge narrative here, Kristaps Porzingis, if you want to buy into that. But, this is a really tough matchup. The Knicks are top of the league in DVP versus centers, allowing the least DraftKings points per game. But he's been a really solid fantasy point per minute producer this season. 7.5K is a fine price tag for him. Knicks are a little bit more vulnerable to catch and shoot scorers, not by a lot, but we know Porzingis can pop off at any time. Derek White been shooting the ball really well lately. Shot 50% from 3 over his last 3 games. He's definitely going to be needed here a lot for his defense. Should touch upper 30 minutes in a close game, so I wouldn't mind him at 6.7K. And then last guy to mention, Drew Holiday, 6.1K. Going to probably see the easiest defender in Jalen Brunson on defense. I just don't really see a big upside case for Drew Holiday while everybody is healthy. But yeah, I think you could definitely consider Drew tonight. Last game of the slate, Brooklyn Nets taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Big news in this one. Rudy Gobert listed questionable with a sprained ankle. He sprained it last night in the game versus the Bucks. Said he's going to be good to go, but would not be surprised to see him miss this one with it being a back-to-back versus a terrible Nets team. So I'm probably going to be approaching this as if he's out. And if he is out, we'll probably see Kyle Anderson step into the starting lineup. Going to see more minutes out of Naz Reid as well. Those guys become really, really good value options. Nets side, I think I'll break it down really quickly just because I think it's pretty easy. I'm not going to be considering any of these guys tonight. This is about as bad as a matchup as you can get versus the top-ranked defense this season. And this Nets team is just struggling right now. They don't really have any answers on offense, playing a pretty deep rotation as well. So I just can't really get to any of these guys. I think that if I were to keep anybody in my player pool, it'd probably be Nick Claxton, 6.8K, maybe Ben Simmons, and you hope that he can, grind his way to a double-double, but not excited about any of these guys at all. Much prefer this matchup to the Minnesota, or on the Minnesota side of things. This Nets defense has been allowing 17 3-pointers per game over their last 3 games. Their defensive rating is 128.9, which is the second worst over their last 3 games. Anthony Edwards should be able to have his way in this matchup. Would not worry too much about the Mikal Bridges assignment. Mikal has not been the same defender as years priors. Ant's shot volume is just going to be massive here. Been taking 20-plus shot attempts in 6 of his last 7 games. The Nets defense is just giving up big games left and right to opposing opponents. So I think that Ant adds another one to the list here, puts up a big score at 9.2K. Karl-Anthony Towns, I like him regardless of Rudy Gobert's availability, going to get much better. If Gobert would be out, his upside, rebounding upside would get a big boost as well as his usage, which goes up to 30.4 with Gobert off the floor this season, averaging around 50 DK points per 36 minutes with Gobert off the court this season. Pretty good matchup for Karl-Anthony Towns as well versus this team that's given up a ton of 3-pointers. Already mentioned Naz Reid. I think that he's fine to consider even if Gobert were to be in on a small slate, but would be a great value option if Gobert were to be out. And then Kyle Anderson, I think same thing as well. He's a value option right now, regardless of Gobert's status, but would be I would call it a near lock if Gobert to be out. Going to see him starting and play upper 20s minutes at 3.9K. Really good value option. That's going to do it here, though. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And hopefully everybody has a good weekend. See you guys.